CG Ruthless Sports. I will be brutally honest. Ain't nothing but being brutally honest. Coming at you with another video.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bring the Juice Frank. What's up, bro?
Yeah, baby. CG Ruthless. Been looking for this connect. Appreciate you having me on. I just cranked out an episode. Energy stays high. Decided to chop it up for.
Yes, sir, man. It's an honor, man. Where can they find you on social media platform?
Twitter, it's like B_T_Juice Pod. You'll see our logo. It looks like the Bass Pro Shop. And on Instagram, it's just Bring the Juice Pod. Real simple, real easy. We're more active on there. Just came up with a TikTok too. Same thing. Got some fire content. Check it out. A few little snippets of every episode each week. We got some good guests. Love for y'all to check it out. Niner Nation. We got some hot shit coming to y'all too soon.
Yeah, man. Talking about all the content, dude. You get a lot of these Fresno State players and all these locally Fresno players on your podcast. Like, it's crazy, man.
Yes, sir. So I played at State for 5 years. Built those dudes were my teammates. They're my boys. A few of them are in my wedding, coming to my wedding. They're good dudes. And Fresno is a very close community. So, you know, if you're respected in the athletic industry, you kind of get that respect. And I'm lucky enough to have some world champions, some NBA vets, some NFL vets, some high-profile people that have connected me with even more people. It's just the ripple effect now. So my Fresno Foundation has definitely helped propel, bring the juice to new waters.
Yeah, and then the name, Bring the Juice, it kind of like, at first, I mistake you as that Colts podcaster because it kind of seemed like a mistake, but then you correct me on that one. I was like, okay.
So I didn't even know that they were a thing until after the fact. I mean, shit, they're in Indianapolis. I'm out here. If we ever had beef, we probably figure shit out. But for me, Bring the Juice, it was a mindset. It was a way to go about your life. In my college football days, when I was chasing my Olympic dream of doing my thing, it was just bringing the energy every day, having a positive attitude, and basically how am I going to attack each day and kick ass in life.
That's a good mindset, and you played sports all over Fresno State, right?
Yeah, I played football at Fresno State for 5 years, 2015 and 2020, and then I moved to Park City, Utah to train as a bobsled skeleton athlete. I was chasing after the Olympics, bro, trying to represent my country. I didn't go to the games, but I had a hell of a good run. And my current fiance is from out there, so I'm more than happy for that. Got to spend a little more time with her, and it turned us into what we are. And it was a great journey, man. Great journey. Great athletic journey.
It's a good way to go, man. You get to go from those fresh starts, go from other states, man. Like, what is it like down Utah?
It's different than Cali. I mean, people out there are very nice. It's clean, but it also, it snows. There's winter. It gets hot. It's like I feel like essentially in Fresno, like it's just either hot all year or it rains for like 10 days. Like in Utah, you wake up on, November 1st and it's snowing guaranteed, and all the way till February, March, and then by April 1st, the spring is sprung. And by June 1st, it's hot as shit. Like, it's definitely definite in their seasons. There is the Mormon culture out there, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. It's hard to It's not as easy to drink out there. You can't buy booze on Sundays. You got to go to only to one of their liquor stores. You're limited on stuff. So as a young 20-year-old, it makes it limited. But all in all, I love my journey in Utah. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, and I'm blessed for everything God's given me. And if that was part of my journey, that's part of my journey.
So what really got you into doing podcasts like what you're doing currently?
So in the midst of my Olympic journey, I messed up my calf. My doctor at the time said I tore it. I kept pushing it. And then one day my parents were in town in Park City, Utah. I had a race. It was me, my parents, my now fiance. We were going out to dinner, and I could barely walk. And I was like, something's fucked up. I played a lot of football. I've done a lot of good things in my life. I've pushed through a lot of injuries, and something just was wrong. And nobody knows your body more than yourself. And I found out a couple days. Actually, it was the night before Valentine's Day. I have a big ass blood clot in my leg, which for being a 24-year-old kid at the time, healthy as hell, doing all the right things, that was very, very surprising, very shocking to me, the doctors, everybody. And when I do a sport as dangerous as as I was doing, you can't have a blood clot and slide at the same time. So my coaches, my team doctors, the people that I had in my corner were just like, you can't do it. And for me, it was kind of go to the Olympics or bust. I always knew I wanted to play college football, and my family farms. And so I did the Olympic journey. And once I got hurt, I was just in this low point in my life, man. That transition from going to being like this high profile athlete, people look at you as an athlete, a college football player, a dude who might go to the Olympics, to like, you're just some Joe Schmo working a 9 to 5. It's a hard transition. And I realized that. I looked around at my friend groups and understood that. And I just wanted to create a platform to kind of just discuss about the mental side of athletics, what you learn from it, how it could relate to your day-to-day life. And, me, I'm an undersized guy. I never was highly recruited. I always had to work for everything that I got. So I knew I had a lot of grit, a lot of character in the foundation of my athletic career. And I knew I could stand 10 toes down on that. And no matter who I talk to, whether it's, I just had Fresno State's head coach, Jeff Tedford, on the podcast 10 minutes before this. Like, we talked about it. I've had a few 49ers on. I have a few more 49ers coming up. I got dudes from around the league. I had a world champion boxer last week on. Like, I think whether you're a world champion boxer, whether you've won the Super Bowl, whether you played JV football as a sophomore in high school, like bro, athletics teaches you principles in life that can be applied to kick ass in business, as a father, as a employee, as somebody who's just trying to get better. I think it all goes hand in hand. And me, like, I'm young and hungry, and I figured, you know what, I'm articulate enough to talk. I have good people in my corner, shoot, and that's what I'm going with.
That's a good way to look at it. Like, you're more encouraging. The way you do your podcast, you do more like, I guess I see a lot of your podcasts on Instagram mostly, or around there. That's where I see it.
Right. I'm not huge on YouTube yet. I got all my episodes recorded. I'm going to drop them all probably at once, like a tsunami. We'll check it out. But, I'm really like, I'm in the mode of, I'm going to put my head down and work. I got the good guests. I got the content. I know who I am. I'm not a fraud. And if I could continually, week in and week out, sit down athletes, talk about the things that nobody wants to talk about, be a little bit vulnerable in that sense, I think a lot of people relate to it, whether they're a fan or a player or a former player or a parent of a player. There's relevance towards this shit. And, we live in the United States of America where, sports sports are a big thing here. And no matter what situation you're in, I think you can learn something from every podcast.
Yeah, you could. You could learn about different perspective of what they say. Like
Of course.
they could be motivators, just like how you would say on your podcast. Like,
Right.
or they take pointers from breakdowns or other stuff. But what stands out about you is you get some pretty damn good guesses. Like I've actually got some guesses here and there, but it doesn't compare to you. I mean, you put on the top of the list of the local, man. That's what I can give the huge props right there, man.
No, I appreciate that. And like, as it's about gaining respect, and and me, like, shit, I just want to be respected in everything that I do, whether that's being an athlete or being a podcaster or being a businessman or being a husband, a father, whatever the hell it's going to be. Like, I just want to be respected, and you know, doing that every way, shape, and form I possibly can. I'm trying to do. Um, it ain't always the easiest thing, but it's what I set out to do. And like, yeah, we've had some cool local guys. Like I've had, and the local guys have developed. They've snowballed into guys who aren't local want to. I got 10 dudes from the Bay that are hitting me up that I might go out there for a weekend and get all these episodes in. I got dudes from LA. I got dudes in Cincinnati right now. I got 3 dudes on the Bengals that want to come on the podcast. Like, it's awesome to see how well it's growing, but at the same time, like, I'm not satisfied yet. I'm not comfortable yet. I won't be for a long time. And I feel like, the moon, I don't know what the moon is. I don't know what my goals are, but I know I want to keep going up. That's for sure.
You want to keep getting better. You want to elevate yourself. And yeah, I like the attitude, the way you're saying it. You're not satisfied. You want to do better. So that's what all podcasts all want to do is get better.
Right.
So when you look at the way you establish your podcast, man, you're getting some guesses and you're going in person. There's a difference. Some podcasts, they just do it on virtual like we're doing, but you go in person with a lot of these players. That's pretty intriguing.
Yeah. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
For me, I had the opportunity to go virtual like we're doing, which I'm not hating on it at all. Like, you format how you want to format it. Everyone's got their journey. Shit, there's a lot of dudes that are successful in all ways, shape, or forms. For me personally, and I've limited myself a lot on the business side of Bring the Juice, and possibly on the guest side of Bring the Juice. But a guy who scrolls down Instagram, if it's something I'm not super, if I don't have a personal connection, if I'm not interested in that person specifically, like, I don't want to watch 2 dudes FaceTime. Like, that's just the reality of things for me. That was my personal, like, I don't like that in social media. I don't want to look at it. So that was me. If I have relevance towards the situation, then yeah, like, I'll tap in, like, whatever. But I think with Bring the Juice, it widens it up a little bit. Like, think of how many people, think of shows like Oprah, Ellen, Dr. Phil. Like, there's so many guests that have been on those over the last 20, 25, 30 years. And most people, they don't give a shit who, who's on there. They're going to watch Oprah. Like, they're not going to just watch. They don't go watch Oprah because of who's coming on. Like, they watch Oprah certain times a day. I want people to wake up on Thursdays and listen to Bring the Juice. And I think when you have an in-person conversation, it's not just the audio that you hear. It takes a little sense of someone needs to trust you to be able to open up a certain amount. And for the niche that I'm in, where it's about being an athlete, a high-profile athlete that's vulnerable about their feelings and their want to and their whys. Like straight up, like, you're not going to vent. If you're a guy who needs to go to therapy, like, you're not going to do it over FaceTime. Like, you need to sit in the room, get comfortable with it, feel the vibes, understand the environment, and then be like, okay, I trust this person enough to talk about it. So for my field, I really wanted to make sure that it was mandatory that we were in person and that we did build that connection. Like if my podcast is 45 minutes long today, my episode started at 3:00. Shit, my guest got here at 2:00. He left at 5:00 down here, 4:30. Like there was and it was only a 45-minute podcast. Like, we chopped it up before. We talked base. And some people I never meet before. And I want to make sure that they feel comfortable with me. I'm not some media dude who's a snake that's trying to get a headline story. Like, I want to be known as being just, I'm keeping it real. I'm not trying to say I'm this hot shit. I am who I am, bro. I don't play for the fucking 49ers. I don't play for, I didn't go to the Olympics. I was training to go to the Olympics, but I didn't go to the Olympics. And I think real recognizes real. I truly believe that. And it's a lot easier to catch those vibes when you're in person versus over media.
Yeah, that's true right there. And the points is, bro, like it's better for some to go in person, but when you look at the way you're doing it, man, you know, I like to work a business with everybody else, but the way you're doing your business, you conduct a good business. And like you said, as soon as you start getting your stuff on YouTube seriously at some point, I think at some point it's going to skyrocket. But the way you do it on Instagram and whatever way you do it, man, it's pretty legit, man. Like anybody who has Instagram, bring the juice. This guy, he's got Josh Hockett, a lot of other top guests from Fresno State. You just had Jet Tedford on the show not that long ago, so that's improved.
Literally within an hour, I had Jeff Tedford. I got his saliva is on a wine glass that he was guzzling wine earlier today. He not guzzling, but he had a glass of wine with me before the podcast. I mean, Jeff Tedford's a great man, and I'm so happy for this episode. But like anything, like Jose Ramirez came on the podcast. That man's a world champ. He's an Olympian, and shit, he's just a real dude who just wants to be respected. Like he's not some macho hard ass. Like the dude just wants to be respected. Like athletes are human beings, and if I could be the channel, if I could be the microphone that translates that from their mindset, their heart, their late night thoughts to the world, then shit, I'm down. Like that's cool with me.
It is, man. Like you said, most athletes are human beings. They're like all of us, and we can all relate to them in certain perspective. But you've done the sport, but you're doing something that you enjoy for a passion. So that's what matters.
Right. And I mean, I work full time. Don't get it twisted. Like I worked a long day today. My family farms. We farm onions for a living. I'm running both ships at this point. Like I'm trying to monetize, bring the juice as much as I can as another source of income down the road. But like in the time being, like I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to work. I'm going to try to get as much gritty athletes as possible. And we could relate to how these high profile elite athletes are chasing greatness in every sense of life.
Yeah, that's the mindset I like about you, man. I want to chase like in that same level, you know,
Sure.
bring in some great athletes, bring in some people who can talk anything with sports, or it can even be outside of football. Also, it can be like other sport topics, you know.
Well,
what?
I think that all sports go hand in hand. I mean, I've had softball player on. I know golfers. I know baseball players. I know people that run track. I know people that kayak for a living professionally. And, you know, everyone has this competitive edge within them, and they have this want to win. And it's just how far are you willing to go to be successful? Because realistically, people who aren't where they want to be in life, they're just making up excuses. And I mean, I'm in that boat too. Like I have things where I'm like, oh shit, if I'm getting, 5,000 listeners an episode, why am I not getting 10,000? Oh, it's because I'm too new. I haven't grown fast enough yet. Like that's bullshit, bro. Like you should, like, how are you going to grow faster? I always reference like the Elon Musk thing where, one thing he said that kind of spoke with me, like not saying I idolize him or anything like that, but the motherfucker's successful. And he says, write down your 10-year plan. Okay, cool. Now try to do it, your 10-year plan in 6 months. He goes, you're not going to finish your 10-year plan, but you're going to get a fuck ton further on with it than you tried to do it in 6 months than if you waited for the full 10 years. And, I've always lived my life a million miles an hour. And luckily I have a great woman in my life, a great family in my life, good people in my corner, good teammates throughout the years. I've been able to keep my head on straight so far to where I truly believe, like, bro, pedal to the metal, like, let's fucking go. Like, I'm not trying to gain a follower a week. Like, I'm trying to gain 100 a week, trying to gain 1,000 a month. Like, what can I do? What can I produce? And I don't want to just shove, because, like, damn well, like, bro, if you want to blow up on social media, if you want to gain followers, if you want to gain people that follow you and believe in what you're preaching, like, there's algorithms for it. You could do a TikTok with the newest dance and probably gain more followers, but I just want to spit absolute facts, bars, things people can relate to, and leave it at that.
Yeah, man, that's the attitude, man. Like you say, you don't want to just gain any or like a lot of those followers. You want to get 100 per week. You want to push more for 1,000. So that's the mindset. Like you said, you can establish a 10-year plan if you push for it, and it might be tuition, but you're not completely done with the 10-year plan, is what you were saying. So it's still unfinished business.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, I definitely appreciate you on the show, bro. I know you probably got to get back on your break a little, but hey, it was a great time. I'm going to give you the solo introduction, and you can just tell the audience where they can find your channel or whatever social media for one last time. Then we can go from there.
Yes, sir. So my name is Frank Delana. I'm the host of the Bring the Juice podcast. Each week, we feature high-profile elite athletes. We discuss the mindset of chasing greatness, chop it up about locker room stories, their stories, things, the reasons of why they wake up in the morning to get fired up and attack each day. These are dudes that play in the NFL, MLB, NBA, been to the Olympics, are professional fighters, do this, that, and the other. And they wake up every morning and they bring the juice. And you could find us at on Instagram mainly at Bring the Juice Pod. You can see our logo right here. We got these hot hats. We're on TikTok now, same name, and we have a Twitter as well. Type us in, you'll find us. And I appreciate you all. And CG, bro, like this is great. Let's run it back.
Yeah, for sure, man. Near future, we can work something out, man. As always, CG Ruthless Sports and Bring the Juice is out, and see you guys later.
All right.